my friends, let me just tell you that eating was good this week. Stay tuned to see all of this yummy goodness. I think you're going to enjoy it. It says, we've a particular predilection for the pucker of a pickle. Could we provide that pickly punch in a shakeable form? Positively. All right, we're going to start off strong and sweet. What started out as a hunger for maybe a blueberry pancake turned into looking up recipes, and I decided to go with this blueberry French toast casserole, and I'm so glad I did. It was so delicious, and one that I know that I will make many times over. It was a very easy and delicious recipe. So let me show you how we put this together. So this recipe called for a loaf of brioche bread, cut into pieces. I decided to go with some hot dog buns that I had left over and knew that these would work out just great. I had actually stuck those in the freezer, so got those cubed up, and then these beautiful blueberries came from the Amish grocery store. We had enough left to make this casserole, and boy, it was so good. So anytime you're making a French toast casserole or say a bread pudding, something similar to that, you can use any kind of bread that you have. I think for the most part would work, and it's a good way to use up leftover bread. All right, next for the eggs and the milk, I will have this recipe linked down below, so be sure to go into the description box and check it out. But I cut back a little bit on the eggs. I think instead of 8, I went for 6 because I knew I probably didn't put as much bread as the recipe called for. But these general recipes like this are pretty forgiving, and you can use what you have and come up with something delicious. Half a cup of granulated sugar and 1/4 a cup of brown sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla, and it calls for a teaspoon of cinnamon, but I don't want that much, so I'm just going to shake in about that amount. And you can use nutmeg, optional it says, and I'm not going to use that. So let's get this all mixed up here. And then you pour this over top, cover, and refrigerate for 2 hours. And it says to press down if you need to make sure your bread is covered. Oh, there's a little blueberry stem. Looks about right to me. Okay, I'm going to get this covered and get it in the refrigerator. All right, now I'm going to make the streusel topping. It says you can also make that ahead and put it in the fridge. So I need a 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour. Ooh, the sun's going in and out, in and out. Then I need a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm just going to shake some in, and a little bit of salt. And I need 4 tablespoons of cold cubed butter. All right, let's get our butter here. 4 tablespoons. Of cold cubed butter. All right, let's just get this going. Okay, now this will go in the fridge as well. All right, now you can leave this in the refrigerator longer if you need to, but you can also just leave it in there for a few hours and it will also work just fine. So I've pulled this out of the refrigerator now and I'm going to get this in the oven. Again, make sure you look below for all of the baking instructions, etc. But I had made this up ahead and also the streusel ahead, so now I'm just making sure to break up that butter just a little bit smaller. Now it's really good and cold from being in the fridge. Putting this on and getting it in the oven. While this was baking, I pulled out a roll of this fresh pork sausage I mentioned in last week's video that we had a freezer full of pork now. And let me just say, this is a really delicious tasting sausage. So I fried that up and I also made up some scrambled eggs. That's what I'm going to serve alongside this delicious casserole. And take a look at it all out of the oven. The top was so like a crunchy, crispy a little bit on the top, and it was just very, very tasty. We served it with just a little bit of maple syrup drizzled over the top. These fresh blueberries were perfect in this dish. So I highly recommend this one if you're looking for a breakfast for dinner idea or you want to make this for a Saturday morning. I'm telling you, I think that you will really, really like it. It was over the top delicious. All right, you guys, I'm sure you spotted this absolutely beautiful, delectable looking ham in the intro. Well, I'm going to talk more about that later, but I'm going to show you what I made to go along with this. So out of my pantry, I pulled out this box of elbow macaroni. For a while now, I have been thinking macaroni salad sounded so good, and rather than buying it from the store, I just wanted to make it myself. So I looked up a few recipes in some of my cookbooks and then also online, and I loosely followed one that I will have linked below. But I wanted to do like a dill pickle type macaroni salad because in case you also saw in the intro, I'm sure you did, the new little seasoning that I purchased at Trader Joe's, and it's a dill pickle seasoning. So I kind of wanted to do a dill pickle macaroni salad. So here I am cutting up about a cup, maybe a little bit less, but these are the Cornichon pickles. They're so tiny, so little, and they're kind of like a sweet dill pickle. They're not entirely sweet, they're not entirely sour, but I knew those would be perfect. I wanted to be finishing using those up anyway. So got those chopped as well as my onion and also a couple boiled eggs to go for this yummy macaroni salad.
Ever since you came into my life, it felt so good, it felt so right. You bring the sun on cloudy days, all the birds sing your praise. It's your face, your laugh.
Okay, I got this new seasoning at Trader Joe's, you guys. So let's see here. It says seasoning in a pickle, seasoning blend with a bite and tang of a dill pickle flavor. So I'm going to read to you what it says here on the side. It says, we've a particular predilection for the pucker of a pickle. That proclivity prodded us to ponder, could we provide that pickly punch in a shakeable form? Positively, give it a sprinkle wherever a supercharged dill pickle profile will pop. Fries, veggies, eggs, fried chicken, the planet is your pickle. So, the back of it says sea salt, granulated onion, vinegar powder, sugar, granulated garlic, dried dill, and dill weed, and a few other little things on there. So I'm gonna try this in my macaroni salad.
Yeah, I want to see myself.
You want to say hi?
Hi. I just got out of the fridge. And I want to play.
Tell them what you've been doing down there.
I've been seeing minnows trying to catch them with my fishing pole. And later on today, all the people are going to come here and I'm gonna be probably alone. And me and Pops is gonna go fishing up in the lake by ourselves.
Jim Pops, huh?
And no kids up.
No kids?
And
You don't want any of your cousins to come up there, huh?
yeah, because they might fall in the lake. That's why I'm never letting them up there.
That's why. You're so funny. You are so funny. Okay, so it calls for about a cup of mayonnaise, or it calls for a cup. So I'm going to use a little bit of Miracle Whip, bottom of the jar, and add to mayonnaise and a little bit of mustard. So let's get that going and we'll get it in. Okay, now a little bit of sugar. It's about right. I think I want mine a little on the sweeter side.
Mac and cheese.
This is macaroni salad. So it has a little bit of a, sometimes they have a little bit of a sweeter taste. This is a cold macaroni salad. No cheese in this one. Okay, and then we're gonna go on with this. This is pickle seasoning, Finley, from Trader Joe's. And it makes what you put it on taste like a pickle.
I put that on a pickle sometimes.
Oh, it smells very pickly.
Can I smell it?
Yeah.
That's what I put on pickles.
Oh my goodness, this smells amazing.
I put on pickles.
You've never had this before. Well, I just bought this and gave one to your mommy, but whoa.
Remember pickle chips? I literally smell the thing.
Smells like pickle chips. Finley is a huge pickle fan. How many pickles do you usually eat a day, Finley?
I usually eat 8.
8? I don't know if 8 is the right number,
And
but he eats pickles every day.
But sometimes, even in a day, even once my mom buys some in one day, I eat all of them. Of one entire jar.
Finley's mom, Abigail, comes from a pickle-loving family, and Finley is definitly inherited that, haven't you? You love pickles so much. No, hang
Yes,
on.
I do.
Hang on, I gotta film this right now while I am stirring this up. It's looking like about the right amount. So what I do is I'll stir this up, put this in the fridge, and then we'll taste it in a little while to see if it needs anything different. I have a feeling it's going to be about right. Okay, you can turn it around at you for just another minute or so. And then we'll turn it off.
Remember you said you would give me a picture?
Yeah, hold on a minute.
Hello. Hello, we're going fishing alone today.
Good. I don't think it needs anything. You want to sample it? You do?
I don't want to sample it.
Sample. Take a little tiny taste at the bottom.
That's right.
Oh man, I like it. Do you? Oh, it's gonna be good when it gets cold. It'll be refreshing. Okay, let's take. And after he sampled this, he asked for a little bowl of it, and of course I gave it to him. You can see here that I put a little bit of smoked paprika on the top, but yeah, I gave him a little bowl and he loved it, and he said he couldn't wait to eat it again when everybody got there for dinner. Okay, you are officially looking at the ugliest eggs there ever were. I had a horrible time getting these boiled eggs peeled. I don't know. One time they peel nice, the next time they don't. So, but I guess the only reason I'm showing you this is if you don't use your little cookie scoop to fill your boiled eggs, or your deviled eggs rather. That's what these are, deviled eggs. It's a really easy way to get them filled. So I was just showing you that. So now I'm going to move on to another dish we had this night was baked beans. And so I don't follow a recipe for baked beans. I just make them pretty much the same way every time. I'm using my Pampered Chef rock crock here, and it was the perfect size for 2 of these extra large cans of sort of like the pre-seasoned baked beans. I got these at Aldi. I just have some diced onion, and then this is kind of a bottom of the jar thing. I like to look in my fridge and see what can I use that's close to being finished, and so this was a little bit of the Kinder's hot honey or honey hot, whatever it is, barbecue sauce. There's just a tiny bit left in there, along with some mustard and ketchup, some brown sugar, and I had thawed out a pound of ground beef to put in here and totally forgot about that at the time of making this, but I did put ground beef in there later when I remembered. I love that when I make baked beans to put in some ground beef. It just makes them really hearty and tasty. So now you are looking at the star of the show. Look at this beautiful ham. James did this whole ham, this whole idea to have ham this day, all James. So this is from the fresh pork that we just got from the butcher. He pulled out this big old ham and did the cherries, the pineapple, and baked this low and slow all day long, and I literally mean all day long. He put some Dr. Pepper on there with the sugar, and he also added on brown sugar and honey. And he just monitored this all day, checking the internal temperature until it came to the temperature it needed to be. And I have to say, and I think all of our family agreed, it's probably the best ham we ever had. He just kept removing some of those drippings as they were cooking off, and look at this. I can't say enough about how delicious this ham was. We really had a throwdown feast this night for family night, you guys. It's been a busy summer. We haven't had the opportunity to have family night weekly like we often do, and so this was really just a treat to all be together and enjoy a meal that was just off the chain delicious. James carved the ham up, and I'm going to show you in a little bit what else we had with that ham, or what I did with that later. I made some of those little Sister Schubert rolls, some potatoes with cheese, some of our family favorites there. And then I'm going to now show you the dessert that I made. I wanted to make the dessert, I think it's called chocolate lasagna. In truth, there's lots of names for this type of dessert. They're just kind of a multi-layered dessert with some type of crust, a cream cheese component in the middle, some sort of pudding usually. Well, this one is called chocolate lasagna, and it takes Oreos. So I've been wanting to make this for a while, and I'm just now getting around to it. So just make sure and look in the description box for a link for that recipe. I will say it did not disappoint. It had Oreos, it had cream cheese, like I said, some Cool Whip in there, a couple boxes of chocolate pudding, more Oreos on the top. What is not to love? This was really good, and like I said, overall, such a wonderful night with family. If we didn't have anything real wonderful to eat at all, it's always wonderful when they're all here. But this delicious meal was really a treat.
This is where no one gets up. This is when they make food.
Right, not every day is family night, so we have to have some easy peasy meals in there as well. So what you're looking at now is a pound of ground beef that I have browned up. And again, in the spirit of using things that need to be used, I had this taco sauce in my refrigerator, needed to be finished up. So I decided that was going to be my taco seasoning, if you will, to go with this ground beef. I am making loaded nachos. That's one of our favorites. We haven't had it in a good long while, but it's something we super enjoy, and it's quick to get on the table. So I used that taco sauce, decided I need a little bit more, and then I just added a little bit of garlic and cumin in there, and it made a really tasty taco meat. So I had these little sort of like the scoop chips, and I decided that's what we were going to have this on. I had a little bit of the white queso that I usually buy at Costco in the refrigerator, heated that up, and then just had all of the toppings that we like to go on loaded nachos, minus refried beans. That's one of my favorite things to go on loaded nachos, but I have not had refried beans in the pantry for a while. So, like I said, quick and easy meal, always hits the spot, and I like to show you some of these because, like I said, it's not every night that we have a whole lot of time to spend in the kitchen, but that doesn't mean we have to go out to eat. It doesn't mean we, have to have a bowl of cereal either, which all of those things are fine, but you can pull things together pretty quick and easy, and this is definitely one of those things. Now, you might have guessed it, if there's ham, I like to have some beans. So I pulled out these Lux mixed beans and pinto beans. Here's my ham. I just kind of sauteed that in the bottom of this little kettle. Put in my beans, added a couple cans of water, just a little sprinkle of sugar. I think I added, some black pepper and probably a little bit of garlic powder maybe. That's just generally about what I use. There's a little bit of salt going in. And I just put these on early in the morning. I let them cook low and slow, and then I took them off the heat and just kept a lid on them for a little while, and that helps to get this bean juice thickened up. And then when it was time for dinner, I just reheated those. Now, this is something I have never showed on my channel, and I don't know that I've seen it too many other places, but I am making what is called a wilted lettuce salad. That's what my mom always called it, and she made this just about every time she made beans. She would do beans, fried potatoes, and ham if we had it, that one in the beans. If not, she would do the beans, fried potatoes, and most always a wilted lettuce salad. It's 3 or 4 easy things that makes this: onions, lettuce, bacon grease, and maybe a little salt and pepper. So I already had some shredded lettuce here, so I'm just using the lettuce that I had, the onion that I had, got this all kind of shredded up in the sizes I needed. Wow. Heat up bacon grease in your skillet and pour it over top. And you be careful because it pops a little bit. Salt it, pepper it, and it is so delicious. It might sound strange. Maybe it is strange. I don't know, but it's a Southern thing, and it is delicious with ham and beans. And we didn't have any chow chow to go along with this, but I did have this green tomato relish in my pantry, and it was the perfect accompaniment to go with this ham and beans dinner. All right, I'm going to show you one last thing here. Last week, I showed you a breakfast pizza that I made, and I wanted to show you this delicious buffet of breakfast food that we had at our church fellowship meal. I know several of you have mentioned in the comments that you like hearing about that, you like seeing what I'm taking, and so I'm trying to remember to get some clips from time to time. There's the breakfast pizza to show you some of this yummy food that we have during our fellowship meal, and breakfast is one of our best and one of our favorites. So I thought I would just show you this in closing today. Thank you so much everyone for watching. I appreciate you spending time with me here in my kitchen. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love to have you around here. For those of you that have, thank you so much. If you will, give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Tell me about some of the yummy food that you have had at your house this week. I hope you're all doing well, and I'll see you next time, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.